All right, you gotta
read, baby, read. Say what you gotta read, baby, read. Say what, 'cause reading is knowledge, and knowledge is power. Power go to college, and I wanna know, yeah. Snap, clap, hands in your lap. Snap, clap, hands in your lap.
Everybody's sitting crisscross. Everybody has their hands in their lap. Everybody has their eyes on them. All right, friends. We have a new classroom job. Ms. Turner is going to talk about it more later, but our new classroom job is something that's called a thought pusher. So what a thought pusher is going to do is whoever is the thought pusher is going to hold this stick, okay? And what you're going to do is when someone gives an answer or when someone has an opinion, you're going to push their thought forward. You're going to push their thought forward. And you're going to do that by saying, that's a great idea. What makes you think that? Let's try it. That's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
What makes you think that?
What makes you think that?
Great. So for example, I could say that, let's say that Wushi is the thought pusher. So I could say that I think this book I'm going to read, it's called Miti. I think this book is about a woman who grows plants. And Wushi would say,
That's a great idea to grow plants.
well, Wushi, what makes me think that is there's a woman on the front cover of this book, and she looks like she's putting a plant in the soil. So that's why I think that. Okay, does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
So Wushi, do you want to be the thought pusher for today? No? Okay. I'm going to ask Jazara then to be the thought pusher. So what do you say when someone gives an opinion?
Oh, what makes you think that?
What makes you think that? Go open the door. Jazara, go open the door. Great. So while I'm reading this book, I'm going to stop and ask you questions. When you give an answer, Jazara is going to say,
Oh, what makes you think that?
yeah, you can also say, that's a great thought. What makes you think that? So it's a couple different ways, okay? Sound good? All right. Miti. On the highlands of Africa, near forests and plains, and a huge salt lick, Wangari was born. The face of Mount Kenya smiled down on her. People told stories of how, in the old days, sometimes the sun shone too bright, too long, and droughts came. Creatures suffered, plants wilted, people thought. So the men held ceremonies under the mugumu, the spreading sacred fig tree, and the skies blessed them with shimmering rains to slake their thirst and water their farms. Village elders placed staffs from the thigi tree between angry men, and enemies became friends. Wangari listened to these stories. That's how she came to love and respect trees. That's how she came to be wise in the tradition of her family and village, of her country and continent. When Wangari grew up, she worked in the city, but she always remembered her roots. She planted trees in her backyard and sat under them to refresh her body and spirit. One day, a poor woman came from the western valley to see the wise Wangari. Her children peeked out from behind her and the smiling woman in bright blue cloth with squiggles all through it, like tadpoles squirming in a pool. I have too little food to feed my family, said the poor woman. There is no longer a job for me in the timber mill, and I have no other skills. What can I do? Wangari took the woman's hands and turned them over. She took the children's hands one by one. These are strong hands. Here are seedlings of the muiru tree. Plant them. Plant as many as you can. Eat the berries. Thayu Nyumba. Peace, my people. I'm going to read one more page and then. The woman and her children returned home and planted trees with their strong hands. One by one in the years to come, the family ate the shiny round fruits. They shared with their neighbors who carried home the seeds, planted them, and grew their own muiru trees. Another woman came to the wise Wangari as poor as the first. This one traveled from the mountain in the south. Her daughter stood beside her, thin as ropes. My daughters and I walk hours every day to find firewood to cook with, said the poor woman. It takes so long we have no time for anything else. What can I do? What do you think the woman can do? What did the Wangari give to the other woman, Quintus? She gave her seeds to plant trees to grow fruit. Yes. So thought pusher.
What makes you think that, Quintus? Because
I think that because
she, in the story it said,
Yeah, so in the story before, the Wangari gave the other poor woman some seeds, and she grew them into trees, and that's how she fed her family. All right, so we're gonna stop here for today, and we'll finish the story tomorrow. Let's say hi to Phelan's.